Good morning. One of your classmates turned me onto this book. It's Tommy McKnight and the Great Election. It says, after 12-year-old Tommy McKnight was stricken with polio, he must wear braces on his legs and use crutches to walk. Do we know what polio is? I bet you he describes it in the book. We'll have to find out. He feels sad and left out because he can no longer participate in the activities that used to bring him joy. On top of that, a bully named Wally picks on him and makes fun of his disability. But when Tommy learns that presidential candidate Franklin Delano Roosevelt, we called him FDR by the way, also had polio, he is inspired to run for student government. Will he win the election? And more importantly, will he find the courage to stand up to Wally? So my plan is just to read a little bit and see if you guys think you'll like it, because we're talking about finding out the genres and types of books we enjoy reading. Okay. Chapter 1. No More Happy Days. Crack! The ball shot off my bat and went sailing over a car. It bounced off the sidewalk and came to a stop on the side of the street. Kids chased after it as I ran to the fire hydrant that we used for first base. Run, Tommy, run! My teammates yelled. I sprinted faster and faster. Soon I was running so fast that I lifted into the air and flew across the sky. Whoa! And then I saw FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the governor of New York. What's he doing here? And who are all these people with him? And what's that song they're singing? Happy days are here again, the skies above are clear again. And then I woke up. I looked around my room. The sky above me was yellow, water-stained ceiling, and I realized that I was dreaming. I must have dozed off after coming up to my bedroom after school. You ever fall asleep after school? Happy days are here again. I heard someone singing along with the radio in the apartment next door. It was the theme song for FDR's campaign for president. It seemed like it was always on the radio. I looked out the window of the small apartment where I lived with my parents. We lived on the top floor of a 3-story building in Brooklyn. On the street, some neighborhood boys were playing stickball. It was early fall and the leaves were just starting to change colors to golden yellow, blazing orange, and crimson red. The air was warm, and it felt sticky on my face. I watched as one boy pitched the ball to the batter, who swung his stick and smacked the ball over the heads of his friends. The boy playing shortstop leapt to make a catch. It grazed his fingertips and then hit the ground nearby, so he went chasing after it. Hurry, George! Some kids yelled to the boy, running after the ball. The ball came to a stop under a junky old Model T car. The car was rusty and missing 2 of its wheels. George ran over, crawled into the car, and quickly emerged. Quick, throw the ball to Stanley, the pitcher cried out. George threw a perfect strike from the car all the way to the tree the boys were using as third base. The third baseman's tag just barely missed the runner, Wally Strickler. Look at that, fellas, said Wally. Another triple. The Yankees will be calling me soon. Wally was a big, strong kid with a mop of brown hair. He was panting from his trip around the bases. He could sure whack a ball, but he wasn't very nice. I gazed down at the rusty old Model T again and then looked at the metal braces on my legs. They were held in place by thick, brown leather straps that stretched around my thighs. They rubbed on my skin whenever I moved and left red marks and blisters. I looked back at the kids playing outside and realized that even though I wanted to be like them, hitting and running and throwing, I felt more like that broken down car. Since I had polio about a year ago, my legs haven't worked right. I haven't been able to run or jump or play stickball. Not with those metal things around my legs. Legs that won't move like they used to. I have enough trouble just walking with the crutches I used to help balance myself. So there I was. It was the fall of 1932, and instead of playing stickball like other 12-year-old boys, I was stuck inside. Some luck I was having. And there it was on the radio again. Happy days are here again. Well, not for me. Happy days are for other people. I wasn't going to sit around my room any longer. I grabbed my crutches and left the apartment. And soon I was hobbling down the stairs. I got maybe 3 steps out the front door when Wally in his big mouth started teasing me. Hey, polio legs! How them polio legs are yours? They aren't polio legs, you dumbbell, I thought to myself. They're my legs. I just happen to have polio, a viral disease that affected my nerves and muscles. That's why my legs don't work. I guess we got the answer what polio is. I glared at Wally, but I didn't say anything. He wouldn't understand it anyway. He wouldn't understand anything other than what a great stickball player he was. I did my best to ignore him and just kept going. I was a little embarrassed walking down the street with my braces and crutches. There was always tons of people out, and I felt like they were all looking at me. I knew I was probably wrong. They had their own problems to worry about. The stock market had just crashed 3 years ago, and since then, a lot of people had lost their jobs. Some had lost their homes, too. Many people didn't have enough money for food or clothes. They probably didn't even notice me, but it sure felt like they were staring at me as I walked by. Well, it's still better to be outside, I thought. It's better than being cooped up in my room. Besides, I couldn't just sit around the apartment feeling sorry for myself. My family was going through a tough time like everyone else in the neighborhood, but I didn't notice it too much. What I did notice was that I couldn't walk right, and that Wally called me polio legs. Thing is, I did have someplace to be. I just wasn't in any hurry to get there. I had physical therapy appointment at the hospital, and I wasn't looking forward to it all. So, we're talking about text features every now and then. Notice, I hope you could see, that this is in italics, because they're using that to say this is what he's thinking about to himself. They're using the italics to say what he says in his own mind to himself, not out loud. Chapter 2, The Pain in the Rump Room. When I got to the hospital, a bunch of people were standing outside handing out flyers that said, "Elect FDR," they were chanting. "In Hoover we trusted, and now we are busted. In Hoover we trusted, and now we are busted." The presidential election was less than 2 months away. Wow, it's about the same time as we're in today, isn't it? And it was a big deal to a lot of people. It seemed like every afternoon there was something going on, like a rally or a speech. Some people liked the current president, Herbert Hoover, but many blamed him for the Great Depression. It seemed like more and more people in New York wanted FDR to become our new president. One of the chanters caught my eye, the mother of Beverly Braintree, a girl at my school who was just the prettiest girl I had ever seen. But thank goodness Beverly wasn't around, because I didn't want her to see me glumping around on my crutches. Oh no, there she was. Oh, I hope she didn't see me. I kept my eye on her as I did my best to hurry behind the crowd toward the back of the hospital. Beverly was wearing a rosy pink ribbon in her copper-colored hair as she handed out flyers. I don't really know why I like Beverly so much. I just knew that I felt happy when I was around her. And when she looked at me with her sweet smile, I got little goosebumps on my arms. I liked talking to her too. At least, I used to, before I had to start wearing these stupid braces on my legs. There were a lot of things I liked to do before I came down with polio, like playing stickball and swimming, even talking to girls like Beverly. I watched as she turned to chat with her mother. Her baby blue dress had pink flowers on it, and it seemed to shine in the sun. I tried to pick up my pace, but an older boy startled when he shoved a flyer at me. "In Hoover we trusted, and now we are busted," he shouted. "Make sure your parents vote that bum Hoover out of office," he said. Couldn't he see that I didn't give a hoot about Hoover? I just wanted to get away before Beverly saw me. I wanted to get the back entrance to the hospital before... "Hey, Tommy!" Beverly called out. Oh no. She saw me. Just my luck. My heart did a flip-flop in my chest at the sound of her voice. Unable to think straight, I smiled sheepishly, gave her a slight wave, and kept plodding on. As I turned around the corner near the back entrance to the hospital, my crutches hit a banana peel, and I went sailing through the air. A banana peel? Come on! When my crutches went flying, I crashed to the ground, and my face smacked the concrete. I could handle a little pain, but I had ripped a hole in the knee of my new trousers, the ones Mom had just made so that I could have a nice pair of pants. Oh, what a day! I crawled across the alley to retrieve my crutches, and then pulled myself back to my feet. I don't even want to be here for physical therapy, I thought. The physical therapy was supposed to make my legs stronger. Truth was, I wanted the polio to go away the same way it came. I wake up tomorrow, and it's gone. It all happened so fast last summer. I went to visit my grandmother in western New York. I had so much fun swimming in the lake every day with the kids that lived there. A few days after I got home from Grandma's, I started feeling really tired and achy. I was shivering, even after taking a hot bath. When I woke up the next morning, I just didn't feel right, and my back was stiff. Then my legs started to feel stiff too, and they hurt. Over the next few days, it got worse. Before I knew it, the doctor was at our house saying things like, "I'd like to talk to you about polio. There's no cure for polio." Mom was crying. I was thinking, what's happening? What is polio? Turns out polio was me now. 1 week, I was swimming, and the next week, I couldn't even walk. I made my way through the hospital into the large room they called PT room, or PTR. PT stands for physical therapy, which is all about doing exercises. It helps your body get stronger. I like to say that PTR stands for pain in the rump, because for me, doing physical therapy was about as much fun as having a toothache. But I had to admit there was one reason why it wasn't so bad. Or I should say one person, Ruby. Ruby was my physical therapy nurse, and she was the only good thing about having polio. She was Haitian, meaning she moved here from the island of Haiti. She had dark skin, shiny black hair, and a smile so bright it lit up the room. When I arrived, Ruby was standing there with her big, strong hands on her hips. "There's my strong man. Come in, you silly one," she said with that beaming smile. She talked sort of funny. Her words bounced back and forth like a yo-yo on a string. "You're looking strong, so strong," Ruby said. "Get on in here, my strong one, so we can make you stronger." With Ruby, I did all kinds of exercises. I moved my legs up and down, pushed against her hands with my feet. I tried to walk without my braces or crutches. It was hard work, but Ruby made it seem fun. Today, she had me lie on my side and lift my legs one at a time. "Lift now, Thomas," she said encouragingly. So I lifted, or tried to anyway. I only got my foot about an inch or two off the table before my leg plopped back down with a thud. "Again," Ruby instructed, so I lifted again. "Higher now," she said. I lifted and lifted, but wowzer, it was hard work. My legs slammed into the table. Good job, that's better than last week," she said. Ruby had explained that I may have gotten polio from swimming in the lake. She said that lots of people get it, but it only causes muscle problems in a small group of people. Just my luck. "How is this supposed to help?" I asked Ruby. "Well, for one thing, you're retraining your muscles to do things the way they used to do," she said. "I can tell you're getting stronger." "And what's the second thing?" I inquired. "The second thing is that I'm working on my magic on you, and so you have to believe." "Seriously?" "Seriously, my boy. If you don't believe, you shan't receive." "Swell," I replied with a note of sarcasm. "Do you believe, Thomas, that I'll get better?" "Yes." Truthfully, I didn't know. I mean, polio hit me like a water balloon that I never saw coming. And once I was wet, I couldn't get dry. It was just so strange to have my legs not work. They said I might regain some muscle strength, but I wasn't so sure. The thing I liked most about working with Ruby is that we always spoke honestly. So I told her the truth. "I'm not sure." She gave me that all-knowing look of hers, and then another big smile lit up her face. "We'll work on that later," she said. "For now, let's work on lifting your legs some more. You ready?" What else was there to do? So, interesting thing about polio is we don't have it anymore in the world, even though it's a virus. We created a vaccine that made people immune to polio. When I left the hospital, it was my favorite time of day, so I was in no hurry to get home. It was just starting to get dark. The streets were quieting down, and it was peaceful. But when I got to my building, Wally and his buddies were hanging around. I tried to reach my apartment door without them seeing me, but I couldn't move fast enough. As I got to my stoop, I heard, "Hey, polio legs, catch!" I turned to see a ball sailing right at me. Instinctively, I reached up to block the ball from hitting me, but it was too late. It nailed me right in the chest and knocked the wind out of me. I fell over. Again. Wally burst out laughing. "Did you see that, boys? Did you see how Tommy just fell over?" I had enough of Wally. I picked up the ball and struggled to get back up on my crutches. "That was funny," Wally said. "You know, Wally," I said, "if we were friends and I was in on the joke, it might have been funny. But we're not friends, so it was just mean." I threw the ball on the ground. "So what are you going to do about it?" Wally teased. That was actually a very good question, considering my situation. "I'm going to go upstairs and have a laugh thinking about how stupid you are, Wally," I said. That got a chuckle. Not from Wally, of course, but from the other kids. It must have really made Wally mad, because he let out a grunt and lunged toward me. Uh-oh. I quickly headed for the door, and just before he could get to me, I got inside and slammed it shut. I began making my way up the 3 flights of stairs, but I wasn't laughing. Getting hit with a ball and being made fun of really hurt. And being mean to Wally didn't make me feel any better. In fact, before I opened up the door to our apartment, I had to wipe away a tear that was running down my cheek.